The Chicago Bears continue casting their wide net in their coaching search, this time officially setting an interview with Mike Vrabel as a candidate for their head coaching position. We're going to talk about it all and more, but you know what we got to do first? Got to play that intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host here, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for today, man. So it's now officially been set that Mike Vrabel will have an interview with the team on Wednesday. This one just came out about an hour ago that they officially now are up to 13 coaching candidates requested they've sent out. Not everyone has scheduled their interview yet, but Mike Vrabel is set for his. Ryan Poles will have a press conference today as well. And it seems like Ryan Poles is ready to announce that he's going to start kicking off this interview process right away. And like I've said before, for anyone that's doubted or wondered if Ryan Poles is still going to hold his position, well, it seems like he is. He's leading this. There's no question about that anymore. I think, that's one of the big things to take away from this as well, that Ryan Poles will be the guy who is leading this coaching search. He will be the GM for the Chicago Bears next year. And it is what it is. Now, as far as Mike Vrabel, we already know what he is. He's a guy with a defensive-minded philosophy when it comes to being the head coach. And we have a lot of people on there when you look at head coaching candidates. As far as there are a lot of defensive-minded guys here, there's some offensive-minded guys also when it comes down to it. But hey, at the end of the day, I think you got to look and ask if Mike Vrabel, if he does end up getting the job, the question is, as a defensive-minded head coach, is he gonna get the right staff this year as far as offensively to help that process along for the Chicago Bears as far as that offense? So, we'll see what happens with that when it comes down to it. But Vrabel is a guy that a lot of Bears fans do like as a favorite here, right? We also got David Shaw as well. This is a guy at Stanford who's coming in, as well as having another guy that the Bears are looking at. And so the Bears list so far, when you look at head coaching requests as far as interviews, they have Ben Johnson, of course, the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions, Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator with the Dolphins, Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator with the Arizona Cardinals, Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator with the Giants, Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys current head coach, Brian Flores, Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator, Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, Arthur Smith, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, Mike Vrabel, we know Mike Vrabel, former head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Thomas Brown, interim head coach right now for the Bears, and Vance Joseph, as well as the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator. So now with Stanford head coach as well coming in here, David Shaw also getting a request to interview for the Bears vacant head coaching position. Hey, the Bears are casting a net of a lot of different types of people, so it's really kind of hard to gauge exactly what they may be after as far as if they have a particular mindset as far as what they want to do and bring in here. But Mike Vrabel is going to get the first shot at it. Ben Johnson's also probably going to be there closely after that, and we'll see what happens, man. The Bears are really treating this like they understand how important it is. I know there are some people who look at this wide net and they feel like that means indecisiveness. That's not really something that I take away from it, but it is something that Bears fans do feel. And I think it's more so that the Bears just want to get every different look on this situation, get so many different perspectives before they make a decision. This is just the first round of interviews. I do expect the second round of interviews to be a much more closed off group. So probably if you're looking at right now, they have 13 requests out trying to schedule head coaching interviews. That second round is probably going to be cut down by more than half. I would not be surprised if it's only like 5 candidates that move on to the second round of interviews. But, with the Bears, it could be very different than that when you look at it. So when you look at right now, everything that's on the board for the Chicago Bears as far as dates, right? We got January 7th. That's today. That's when Ryan Poles will meet with the media at 10 a.m. Central Time, which is only about 30 minutes away. Kevin Warren and George McCaskey will also meet with reporters on the side after that. So we'll probably get something here shortly after that. That's why I wanted to get this episode out before the press conference. I'll have another thing out after the press conference. Then, of course, you have the Senior Bowl going down January 8th through February 1st is the Senior Bowl. The Bears have typically been a franchise that have really recruited and really looked at a lot of the draftees out of that Senior Bowl. So we have that coming up. Then you have the Pro Bowl on February 2nd. Jalen Johnson's going to be in that. This is my son coming down. What's up, son?
You ordered my gloves?
Yes, boy. You might as well come say hi to people now that you interrupted me.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for school? All right. Love you. All right. Oh. So we got the Pro Bowl on February 2nd. Then February 24th to March 3rd, that's the NFL scouting combine. The Bears are they better have their coach in place by then, right? You want to have your coach, you want to have your staff. That way you can really start off that scouting all being on the same page, right? When it comes down to it. March 4th, that's the franchise and transition tag date there. So we'll know if anybody's. I don't think there's really a candidate on the team that I'm thinking about outright that's probably going to get franchise tagged personally, but we'll see what happens there. And then free agency, of course, starts March 10th through 12th. And then you can start trading March 12th as well. So that's when stuff starts going, and we'll see what happens there. But the Bears are starting to kick things off, man, leading into the draft, which of course is April 24th. So we got quite a bit of time between now and then, and the Bears got a lot to get done. I know that seems like a lot of time, but between now and the opening of free agency, basically in trades season opening, you got to hire a new coach. You got to get a staff in place. You then have to sit down with that staff and with the head coach and come up with a vision of the type of players and what gaps you feel are needed on this team. You got a lot to do between now and then, right? So while there's seemingly a lot of time on the calendar, there's only so much time as far as all the things that the Bears really have left to do. And the Bears have 32 players right now, 32 players that are going into free agency next year. Look at some of the bigger names. Keenan Allen's going to be a free agent. Darrell Taylor's a free agent. Tevin Jenkins is a free agent, right? These are guys that they have to make decisions on. Larry Borom, Jack Sanborn, Jalen Jones, which I think Jalen Jones is probably safe to say he's probably going to be up out of here, but you may want to maintain that depth. But we got some free agents that we got to make decisions on and figure out. Daniel Hardy, a guy he's a free agent this year that the Bears got to make a decision on. He may be somebody that the Bears are going to try to negotiate or maybe even do a transition tag on. We'll see what happens there. But listen, the Bears got a lot of things on their plate, and I know it right now can be so just focused on with that the head coaching situation. But the reason why I'm glad that the Bears are really attacking this head coaching search early and fast and getting these guys in here for interviews is they got to make their decision real quick. Right now, you don't want to rush the decision, but you want to get that guy in place as soon as possible so then you can focus on the staff. And so while I know Bears fans are going to have their favorite, their guy who they want to see the Bears, a lot of Bears fans who haven't really done much research or anything else, of course, they're just going to say Ben Johnson. But they have to make a big decision when it comes down to it. There are a lot of decisions that they have to make and a lot of things that they got to decide on. And, if they do that, we'll see. We'll see. Now, also, the Bears have made some roster moves as well over the last couple of days. So they signed these players to reserve or future contracts. Theo Benedict, which is we all saw him at Hard Knocks, right? He was a guy that, if it wasn't for his injury, I do think he would have made this team. Theo Benedict, Chris Glazier, John Jackson, Carl Jones, Jemery Kimura, which is the Chroma, is a guy I really like. Austin Reed, Ricky Stromberg, Samora Turi, and Joel Wilson have all been signed to reserve or future contracts. So the Bears are going to maintain the ability to have those guys in training camp next year, really take a look at them. And the Theo Benedict is a big one to really look at because, like I said, I do think he really would have made this team if it wasn't for that injury. So the Bears are definitely going to take a look at him and see what they have there. Let's see how you guys are feeling, though. Take Mike Vrabel. I get it, and I understand why you say that, but I don't think there's any candidate right now, in my opinion, that's so head and shoulders above the rest. Now, of course, you have your guys that of course, offensive-minded, defensive-minded, leader of men are what the Bears are looking for. You have, of course, some people that want to see a veteran versus a first-time head coach or whatever in there, but it's just about getting the right guy. Right? I try to keep it level-headed about it. It's just about getting the right guy. As long as it's not McCarthy or Carroll in the last selection. Hey, I mean, listen, I'm not a Mike McCarthy guy. I've already told my bias. I'm not gonna hide it. I don't want no ops on this team personally. But we'll see what happens, man. Gilfs are cheering for the return of the Eagle, man. That is hilarious. That is funny as hell when it comes down to it. Jenkins gets cuts, can't stay healthy. Allen stays only on a team-friendly deal, to be honest. Listen, it's not cut. He wouldn't get cut. He doesn't have a contract, so he technically wouldn't get cut. But I'll say this. I do think that there is a world in which Tevin Jenkins comes back. And I think that it's a very specific set of circumstances, right? I think that if the Bears upgrade that line at just about every position, and then Tevin Jenkins is willing to take a more team-friendly one-year prove-it deal, I do think he can come back in that case. I think that if Tevin Jenkins and his agent go out on the market and they just see that there are not a lot of really good situations or deals out there for him, he may be willing to come back in a situation with Chicago he's already familiar with. And if it's a bad deal either way, you might as well stay home. Now, that's if the Bears don't upgrade every single position, where it leaves Tevin Jenkins completely out. But I think even if you do upgrade and Tevin Jenkins has to fight for a starting position, having him as a debt piece on a one-year prove-it deal, if he doesn't find something somewhere else, it really can't be bad. Now, Tevin Jenkins' health is the biggest thing here. We know what he can be when he's on the football field, but again, year after year, he's proven he cannot stay healthy. And you can only invest so much in that when you hold on. Absolutely. Hey, my bad, Steve. I had the thing maximized and didn't have my headphones
Oh,
on.
I was like, nigga, bro, restream.
Yo,
Anyway,
you
go
good,
ahead.
bro.
Keep talking what you saying.
5 minutes. No,
What
it's
you were
not.
saying? Who you was talking? Tevin?
Yeah, Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah. Like we all say, we all been saying the same thing. When it comes to Tevin, if he's healthy, he's a beast. He's everything we want in a guard, even possibly a tackle. But at the end of the day, like he just gotta take it. It has to be a friendly deal, like in order for us to keep him, because we need to fix this line, and in order to us to fix this line, we're gonna have to spend some bread. So it's like I don't want him to go because Chicago have a funny thing where they go over somewhere else and they just miraculously either get healthy or better. So, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like you just gotta really do your due diligence. See if he come into this. I say wait it out just a little bit. See how he approaches the offseason. If it look like he's still the same, you don't see anything draft, you might have to just cut your losses.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I mean, it really comes down to, I think, the number on the deal and then how much they improve everywhere else to make that
Mhm.
decision. And we'll see what happens with Tevin. Like I said, I'm not completely ruling him out coming back, but I do think it's slim chances that he comes back. But we'll see what happens there. How do you feel about Vrabel being, at least from what we know, he's probably going to be the first one to get his interview? How do you feel about that?
He should have been interviewed by now. So like the fact that he's the first one, it makes sense. He out of all the people that's available to talk to right now, he should be number one on pretty much everybody's list, especially ours. So the fact that we getting him in early to hear out his vision, to see the type of coaches he has in mind to bring in, I mean, it's everything you really want to hear. Like also, like you got to hear the conversation of his approach of how he's gonna deal with Caleb Williams and his whole offense as well. Because as you know, we heard the Marcus Walker and everything. He said that a lot of the shit that we was dealing with and allowing to happen isn't necessarily going to happen under his tutelage. Versus, okay, that's cool and all, but it's still a second part of this team that we still hasn't yet to figure out. So once we figure that out, is he able to have the right people to build a staff with, and then is he's able to translate that onto the field?
What's going on, Kev?
Good morning, gentlemen. My bad. I was doing Shottown Sports.
Oh, you good, bro. We were talking
I was
about
supposed to do
Vrabel.
that.
How do you feel about Vrabel? He interview officially set for Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that you have to talk to. Again, like you can't ignore head coaches that are available who have head coach experience. We know what he was able to do at Tennessee. Turned it around. He as a player, he's won Super Bowls. Like to be a part of that New England Patriots, what do you call it, dynasty, as it were. You can't ignore those things either. So I'm excited to see what he has to say. Like he has an above 500 coaching record. He got some postseason wins as well as a coach. So he's one of those coaches that you have to talk to. In fact, I prefer to talk to him over the Mike McCarthy's and Arthur Smiths of the world. Like I got him up there with the gentleman from Minnesota that we're talking to as well, Brian Flores. So
Brian Flores.
I have him. He's higher on my list than a lot of coaches because the Bears are trying to talk to everybody. But he's in the top 5 candidates for me right now.
Switching to this, the Bears also late last night requested a permission to interview ex Stanford head coach David Shaw. Now, I'm not as familiar. I'm not gonna try to deglaze it like I'm super familiar. I have not watched very much Stanford football when it comes down to. But what do you think about the Bears even going as far as college coaches and interviewing for this head coaching position?
I mean, why not get some high school coaches on the list too while you at it, Bears? I mean, I guess y'all want to talk to everybody. Like somebody was in the comments yesterday was talking about eventually we're going to hear about the Canadian Football League and the UFL too. So,
I mean, that's how we got Mark Trestman.
And that's listen. And honestly, I'm one of those few people that feel like Trestman gets a bad rep in terms of like what type of coach he was here. Both seasons that he coached, I think the Bears started off 7-3, and I believe Jay Cutler got hurt both years. One time trying to tackle somebody where he broke his thumb, and another time I think he also got hurt. But the Bears had some good
injury.
Yeah, so they had some strong starts under Trestman. It just didn't work out because he lost his quarterback. But at the end of the day, listen, if they want to talk to Oprah Winfrey, I don't care. Talk to whoever y'all think gonna help this team become a better team.
Oprah hates black men. She can't coach.
Definitely ain't no
like, yeah, that the Bajan baddies would love that. She would absolutely bench Caleb for Tyson Bajan.
I like his hair. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those people that's like, yeah, go talk to everybody that you possibly can. But Stanford ain't been good in years. I don't know why the fuck we talking to anybody in Stanford.
Not since Harbaugh left.
Yeah,
Harbaugh, no, not him. No, he ain't been good since the black dude left.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, the black head coach. Like they ain't been. That was the last time they was a headache for Oregon. So
well, he is the black head coach you talking about.
He is.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, okay. I'm all for it.
I remember him.
Yeah. He used to give not only just Pac-12 teams hell, he used to give everybody hell. So I like it. He had a good offense. He actually has dealt with. I think he did coach Andrew Luck. So like he know how to deal with a premier quarterback. He coached Christian McCaffrey, I believe, as well. So like it showed that he know how to coach some talent, and Stanford don't always get the best talent. And he turned them into I would say a legitimate Pac-12 powerhouse, which they really not.
Yeah, David Shaw was the head coach of Stafford from 2011 to 2022.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, he was a solid coach. Then I thought we were talking about like the most recent Stanford coach or something. Like, no, we're talking about the gentleman who, he had a solid career at Stanford up until the last couple of seasons. So I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, he with the Broncos right now. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Last topic before we get out of here.
What is he doing for the Broncos?
He's just a senior personnel executive. It's kind of similar to what Vrabel was for Cleveland.
Okay.
Last topic before we get out of here. So it came out more details on why Ryan Poles may be a little resistant at Ben Johnson being the next head coach. So reportedly that Ben Johnson is through what they feel so far is looking for a considerable say as a head coach, more than a rookie head coach would typically get. And Ryan Poles is a little reluctant to give up that power, any type of power to Ben Johnson, considering he's a rookie head coach. Let me ask you guys this. If they do interview Ben Johnson, if he ends up being the best candidate, are you a little worried that a rookie head coach wants more say than what they typically get? Or do you feel it and say, hey, if he's the guy for the job, you give him what he needs to be successful? How you guys feel about that?
I mean, it depends on what type of say he wants. Like it's kind of similar to when they were saying Caleb wanted all the different things that he wanted, right? When he was coming out of college. It's like, okay, some things are understandable. The way the NFL works now is different from the way it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. If Ben Johnson is trying to get enough say to turn this team into a true Super Bowl contender, let that man say whatever. Say it, do it, all of it. Do all of that. You feel me? Because I'm not trying to hold this man back by playing politics, and that's what causes the Bears to be what they are right now. Is politics. If this man can turn this franchise around, let him do whatever he wants. That's just how I feel.
I would feel that way if I knew 100% fact we got a track record of knowing how to hire the right person. So like we keep saying like if he's the right guy, you allow him to do everything. I don't know if these people know how to tell if he's the right guy because look at who we brung in for OCs and head coaches in previous years. Like you tried to sell us, double down to sell us that our Virgil Flus was our guy, and we already knew he wasn't our guy day one. So it's like I agree with you. If he's your guy, you believe in his vision. He done told you, he done laid out the plan for you, and you can see, and you can actually see the steps and start taking steps to seeing what he's trying to build. But the thing is, y'all done messed that up with everybody else. So it's like it sound good saying that, but do we trust y'all with that food? Because that's also a big responsibility you got to put on your head coach. Then
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Oh, we
And
know Vrabel going to the Patriots. By the way, I see you, Greg B. Vrabel going to the Patriots. It's tailor made.
This interview, I would have no doubt that this interview is for Vrabel to be able to go back to the Patriots like, hey, the Bears are offering me such and such. Which sometimes you got to take that extra interview. But I mean, listen, the Bears still should interview him because you just never know. Maybe it falls apart with the Patriots, right? You don't want to just assume the Patriots are going to get him. What if it falls apart? Maybe he wants something that they're not willing to give.
It's just
never know.
I'm not gonna lie. I get what people been saying about the Patriots, but that's a long turnaround.
Oh yeah, the Bears are theoretically a lot closer than the Patriots,
and that's my thing. Like there is like easily 3 to 4 teams out there that's available that's going to interview him. That's a little bit more closer. Like out of everybody he's going to interview, they're the furthest away.
Yeah, but it's probably the sentimental thing. Like he played with him, he won championships with him. So like,
and they are a franchise that does look at that. They like that legacy part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he been with them crafts too.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I don't know. Like if I don't know if he's really wanting to go back, like people say they do, because I think that's the common thing is, oh, they played there, they want to do it. But we've seen here, like for example, Olin Cruz could be our O-line coach, but he not because he don't fucking like the McCaskies.
Yeah, because they offered him like $20 an hour or something like that.
14. It was actually 14.
It's crazy.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. But I gotta get ready to wrap this up, fellas. I gotta go drop my son off at school. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, that's it, man. Listen, it's probably gonna be 2 more episodes today.
Facts.
Yes, tune in. He going
they're going live in
15 minutes.
So we'll probably go live after that if anything of note comes out, man. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-242-9336 with the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Peace, y'all.
15.